Let's talk about some sports, though, guys, because we have in a million years, Jay, a million years, on June 22nd, I would never have imagined us starting a show with the Guardians and the White Sox starting a 3-game set for first place in the AL Central. The Guardians currently have a 1-game lead over Chicago, despite the fact that Cleveland has lost 4 of its last 5 series. When I was putting together the rundown, I was like, all right, Cleveland may just be in survival mode right now, and that was the question initially I wanted to ask before I realized the imperativeness of this series. I know it's early. I know it's only June, but this feels like a chance for a shorthanded Cleveland team to make a statement to Chicago and say, even without Jose and Chase and Angel and some of our other guys, we're still the class of the division. Jay, when you look at these two teams and how they match up with this 3-game set, is this maybe a little more meaningful than a normal June battle for first place?
Yeah, it's definitely more meaningful because they're first and second place, but it's definitely not going to determine the division winner. The division winner right now is in 4th place.
Are you saying the Tigers are alive?
I'm saying the Tigers are alive. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Skubal. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But you watch them. Did they sweep the White Sox over the weekend? They
did, I believe.
I think they swept them.
Yeah.
It's funny, like in the old days of baseball, a 7.5-game lead at the 4th of July, and I know we're not there yet, you were like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But last year, when you look at what the Guardians did to Detroit, they made up 12 games in the last month of the season. Mm-hmm. So, not long ago, I looked at the standings, and the Tigers were 12 games out.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're 7.5 games out, and here they come. We know that team can hit. They've got so much more power and depth in the lineup than the Guardians have. The White Sox lineup I like a lot, but their pitching isn't there. If you could take the White Sox lineup and the Guardians pitching, you'd have a division winner. I just don't think that either Cleveland or Chicago is going to hang on and win this thing. Cleveland's leaking oil all over the place. When Gabriel Arias is your cleanup hitter, and I'm sorry, I get it. I know that there are key slots that are out. He can't be your 4-hitter. I don't in any circumstance, unless you only have 4 guys.
Yeah.
He just can't be. And a guy that we used to count on, David Fry, is up last night. Now, remember, it's a 2-1 game in the 9th inning. So everybody that comes to the plate is the tying run. Fry's got pop. He looks at strike 1 and strike 2, and they were absolute sweet spot strikes.
I don't know what he was.
And then what does he do? And I called it before he did it. I said, now he's chases one out of the zone.
Yep, immediately.
8 inches out of the zone on the high side, swings, not even close, game over. Like one at-bat after another is a head-scratching at-bat. Thank God for Bazzana, who I know we're going to talk about in the second half hour. But I don't see a way that they can stay in this thing without Jose. I hope they prove me wrong. But I wouldn't say that, the winner of this is going to have the inside track at the division, because I still think the best team is just starting to play its best baseball.
When you talked about this, man, like they asked us, was you on the show last week when they asked us, are we panicking?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I totally was like, yeah, I'm definitely panicking. Go look at, I said, McNuggets, pull up their OPS. Can you pull that up? Like, pull that up. And you're like, yeah, it's like last. And I'm like, your best hitter, the only hitter that you count on, Jose Ramirez, is out. And at the time when they asked us the question, Angel Martinez was out. Oh, by the way, DeLauder was out. I said,
you lost your three of your top bats in one day.
One day. I said, where are the runs coming from? Where are we getting here? And I always talked about people. Sometimes in sports we say, oh, you know what? Are we panicking? The funny thing about sports is, it don't matter if you panic or you confident. You can still get beat. Like you can still take L's. Hey, we're calm and we're not gonna panic here. Well, you still keep losing. So either way, panic don't really factor into it. It's about what you can do. And for me, I looked at it and said, nah, I just don't know where consistently you're gonna get your run support from. I don't see it. And if I was in the line, if you look at their lineup. Man, listen, Manzardo wouldn't get anything good to hit. I wouldn't be giving nobody. I'd be pitching around all these dudes because they just don't have enough. And then even when they seem to get great pitching, like Ciccone or even when they get guys that are throwing the ball well, they still can't get no runs. It's just like it sucks. They can't get both at the same time.
So long story short here, and a quick sidebar. My wife was cracking the whip yesterday. Right, we were going to get everything done in a short amount of time.
Ooh,
right,
yeah.
so I'm carrying the stuff in. We got a little TV set up, half inside, half outside, and I stop. And she says, "Do you need a break already?" And I say, "Yes, I do, because I just saw Gabriel Arias is hitting fourth today." So
That stopped me in my tracks too.
We did a half segment where we talked about he's out of the team's plans. Now that's baseball,
Yeah.
right? And he's got to get a chance. But this team, one of their faults, they're going to lose 2-1 games because they're not going to score, because they're down guys in the lineup, and they're going to be put in this bad spot, and that's what they're in, a bad spot right
One
now.
of the things that is so. Do you have Quan stats? Do you have an updated Quan card or no?
We do. And unfortunately, we're going to show this as I'm talking. Every time I update this, the OPS and the batting average go down.
Yes, every single time.
It's time. It's time.
I don't know, man. I don't know what happened to this guy. I don't know what in the world happened. He's still a Gold Glove left fielder.
Yeah.
He made a play Saturday where he had to cut off a ball. It was hit to his right. His footwork in left field was absolutely unbelievable, and he throws out Jose Altuve by 2 steps, who is trying to stretch what normally would be a stand-up double, but not against Quan out in left. So he still saves runs in the outfield. But I'm watching him at home plate, and I'm like, what happened? And I know, I think Voter was asked about this not long ago, and he goes, look, guys just have down years. I get that. But ultimately, when you look at when it's all said and done, and you look at the back of a baseball card, there's usually dots that can be connected. You know, there's not a variance of, this guy was hitting 400. Granted, it was very early in the season, short sample size, but we did a question on this show last year: is Stephen Kwan going to hit 400? Now the segment should be: is he going to hit 200? I don't know that he is. I don't know that he is. 1 home run. He's accounted for 13 runs. He's knocked in 13 runs.
Jay, man, it's almost like you work in the industry. It's like you've been doing well. You trying to be in the media. You're doing pretty good for yourself. The ratings is great, and then right when your contract come up, contract year, the ratings fall, bro.
Yeah, it's not a good time. Well, he's not in a contract year, is he? I don't think.
Well, he
signed for 1 more year.
Yeah,
when the time was ready, he had the leverage and the iron was hot where he was trying to strike.
Yeah.
He was cooking. Then when that little window passed and them ratings keep going down, ratings went down this year. Ratings
then
went
down. Then you
start
pressing more and more and more.
And then you look at him and be like, dude, I used to love your show. What happened? You just seem like you're up here cracking under the pressure. Right. This dude cannot. He don't even look like the same player to play.
Yeah, Jay. No. I mean, regardless of whether it was ever going to be 400 or not, they were electric at bats. Right?
They were
seeing lots of pitches, swinging at a bad one, but still finding a way to poke it over the shortstop's head.
But typically not swinging at bad ones.
Right.
Yes. Right.
He was once upon a time the most difficult guy in baseball to strike out.
He's getting a full count every time.
Every time.
8,
9, 10 pitch at bats because he would foul one off after another after another. He looked different. I watched highlights of a game from 2 years ago.
Real quick, sorry to interrupt. I cannot believe I'm reading this tweet. Adam Schefter just tweeted out, and Shams and Pete Thamel have confirmed, Dusty May, the Michigan head coach, is now the new head coach of the Dallas Mavericks.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Sorry to break.
The last time a Michigan coach made the transition to the NBA, it went swimming. This shocks me.
That's a stunner. I know Portland
was last year his first year at second year?
No, I think it was his second year, right?
Yeah.
I think. But double check me on that, but I feel like he'd been there for 2 years.
Portland was snooping around some college coaches I know, but that's
2 years at Michigan.
That's a crazy one. Yeah,
like if you're going to poach a college coach, go to UConn. There are some college coaches that might have some legs in the NBA, but holy cow, that one's a shocker.
Wow.
Man, really I thought you was going. I thought I was waiting for the Kenny Atkinson.
I thought he was going to say Denzel Ward's been traded.
Yeah.
He said, "I can't believe I'm going to read this tweet."
Yeah.
You said Adam Schefter tweeted that out.
Yeah.
Adam Schefter's a Michigan man.
So. Oh, that's right.
I said, dang.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell's Schefter doing?
Schefter and Shams is linking up. I said, that's wild.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good podcast. It's called The Insiders. Why don't they do it? Give me 5% and tell them.
And they just talk about Michigan.
Or they just talk about all the guys who they get stories from that they tell them. Never mind.
The podcast is called
That would be the untold story. That'd be a good one.
All right, sorry, we can get back to the guard. Sorry, I had to.
No, that's wow. That's huge.
No, that's crazy. That's a crazy move. Crazy move. I'm not sure he's ready for that. We'll find out.
Well, you got to imagine the
crazy.
guarantee on that because Michigan was paying him whatever he wanted, and then he won a title.
Yeah, facts.
Lord, yeah, it has to be guaranteed dollars.
Is Cooper Flag better than Mobley?
His dollars there
Yes.
were guaranteed.
Yes, he is.
Man,
Yes,
that's
he
nuts.
Okay.
That's crazy. Yeah, okay, so the Guardians, it's going to be
you-
a fun series, and I hope the Guardians do well, but
The pitching matchups for this series, and I want to hear your series predictions, and then we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little Browns. But you have Gavin Williams on the mound tonight. You have Parker Messick, and you have Tanner Bybee. Your three best pitchers
yeah.
going
reason-
against the team that you're battling for first place. Jay, on Thursday when we come back in to recap this series, the Guardians will win how many of these next three
I'm
games?
afraid I'm hoping they can win one. That's how bad it is.
Wow.
You know, when they scored a lot of runs Saturday, they came from two bats. Bazana had a couple of home runs in a breakout game for him. That's his MLB breakout game. And Manzardo.
Yeah, Manzardo.
He had
hit the
a
ball
home
well.
run, I think a two-run homer and an RBI single.
Yeah.
That was it. Those two guys. And to your point earlier, the first thing an opposing manager and their hitting coach and the scouting staff does is they say, okay, the pitching staff from the other team, let's look at who we're playing tonight. And I bet you when they saw Arias in the 4-hole, everybody's eyes went like a slot machine, and they just hit, all cherries. Here it comes. So what you do is you say, okay, these are the guys that can hurt me.
Yeah.
These are the guys that I think my stuff can handle. So I'm going at these guys, and I'm going to pitch around or be very careful to these guys. If you're facing a really good team, there's 4 guys that you're worried about and 5 guys you're comfortable with. When I look at the Guardians lineup, I go, yeah, there's 2 guys I wouldn't pitch to.
Yeah.
Really 1.5.
Yeah, one in the possible.
And so, to your point, I noticed the way the Astros were pitching Bazana in the series after he had the big night. Everything was away.
Yep.
So they're going to have game plans to take the biggest bats out of our biggest hitters' hands. And it's pretty easy to. All you got to do is push 2 or 3 runs across, and you're probably
That's it.
in good shape. And this White Sox team can mash. And their home crowds. I watched one of their games a couple of weeks ago, and it was a weekday game. And I thought, let's see how many people are there. The place was packed.
They've been waiting a decade
They've
for
been,
a relevant
they've
product.
been that bad for that long.
AJ Przinsky was doing the Guards game on Fox Saturday, and he couldn't help but say when he was referring to the White Sox as we. He caught himself a couple times. He says, no, I mean them. But there is something special happening on the south side of Chicago this year. And so it kind of scares me that, you know how that goes. Sometimes a narrative starts and then the ball gets rolling and they've got all these nicknames for their hitters.
Yeah.
And, all of a sudden, especially when it comes on the heels of, they lost 100 games last year. And when you break out, it's like a flower finally coming to bloom. And I have a feeling like this is, I don't know that they're ready to win the division yet, but because their pitching isn't there, but their hitting is. And I hope they can take one game of the 3. Normally, when I've got those 3 guys going, if we had our full bats, I'd say we could sweep, we could take 2 of 3, but I don't see it.
Yeah, Jay, I don't care what the standings say or who the opponent was. Like, Gavin Williams has had 2 really bad starts.
I know
like,
he has.
He needs to bounce back
Yes,
tonight.
he does.
Tanner Bybee's been shaky all year.
Yep.
So this is a really interesting
Bybie's
series.
been much better lately,
Yeah.
but you're right, he had terrible starts.
There's juice to it because the White Sox fans are going to be juiced up because it matters in the stadium.
I think it's much bigger for Chicago than it is for Cleveland.
Yeah, it is. But for those 2 pitchers, like these are big starts.
Yeah.
In the bigger picture, much bigger than.
What
the
are we
3-game
thinking?
set.
1 win, 2 wins, no wins, 3 wins.
Give me one.
Take one.
I would take one. They remind me of the '94 season when the Guardians or the Indians was transcending and going up, and it was the year '94 to strike, and then '95 is where they really got
they
to
put it
it.
together.
They put it together,
And they might be a year away.
The White Sox kind of remind me in the reverse opposite. I'll take one.
Okay. Look, if you can get 1 win, then you leave town in a first place tie.
Yes.
So, you would definitely be okay with that at this point in the season. But, hey, who knows, man? Those 3 guys have the ability to go out there and throw terrific games. And if the Guards can push across a couple, I don't like the White Sox pitching. I know Adam talked about it last week. I don't like it at all.